Hey guys, it's Casey Ann, and today I am going to expose my teachers. This is inspired by OMG Lily, a not former, but a YouTuber here on YouTube. She did a video called Exposing Her Teachers, and it kind of got me thinking about this one story that I had about this one teacher in particular that I'm going to expose because she was the worst teacher that I ever had. And I'll do a part two because there's another teacher in the same subject that was really bad, and he was a pathetic teacher. Oh, if I could punch them in their face and not get in trouble or arrested for it, I would have when I attended that school. But, you can't do that. So, I'm not going to say her name, but I'm just going to give you a brief background on why she hated me and why I didn't like her. I was dating this kid at the time, and he was in her class, and he wasn't a super respectful person. Like, he wasn't super friendly to her. He wasn't really nice. But I didn't know what he did with his teachers because I wasn't with him, 24/7. Um, I didn't sit in his classrooms with him, so I didn't know what he did in that time. I didn't know what he was doing. But apparently he had pissed off that teacher enough that when I had her in math, she treated me so disrespectfully. She didn't know me. She just knew the guy I was dating. She thought that I was going to be some disrespectful jackass, and I wasn't. Because when I first walked in there, I said, "Hi," like, "good evening," because that's something respectful to say to somebody. And she was just being a real cow about everything. She was being so rude. So, fast forward into the year, and I have her class later on the next term or next semester, and she is treating me so different than she's treating other students, and I'm just like, yo, like, what the hell, like, why? She sat me in the back, and I told her I had a vision problem, so I needed to sit up front, and I needed to sit in the middle so I could see the whole board. And she looked at me and says, "You're sitting in the back because that's where I assigned you." And so I was like, "Okay, chill out. I'll sit in the back. I'll just have to ask someone for, like, what the examples were on the board or whatever if you do that type of stuff." She didn't. She gave out work samples, never explained what the hell to do or how to do them. And so she kind of just made us fend for ourselves pretty much. And I'm retarded, so I needed extra help. I always raised my hand. I was like, "Hey, I need help." My arm was always raised, like, up. It was never like, "Hey, I need help," or like, "Hey." No, it was like actually raised. Like, I was like, "Yo, I need help here. Hello. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Your job is supposed to teach me and tell me what I'm supposed to do and how to do it and give me an example so that I can use an example as a reference." And she had called me out in front of the class, and there I had went up to her prior and said I have really bad anxiety, which I did. I had really, really, really bad anxiety. Like, talking louder than a whisper was not something that I ever really did unless I was around, like, people that made me comfortable, like my best friend at the time, or my boyfriend at the time, or, just some friends that I was around. Other than that, I was quiet. I was a whisper, and that's all you got out of me. If you told me to speak up, I couldn't. Like, my anxiety was so bad that I just didn't talk louder. So she had called me in the class, and I didn't want to look like an idiot, so I kind of spoke up a little bit louder than I normally would. And she told me to stop raising my voice at her and quit copying an attitude with her. Well, I I wasn't. I was just speaking a little bit louder so that she could hear my answer. After that, she told me, like, I can kind of quote it, like, she was like, "That's the dumbest answer I've heard. Where did you get that?" And I was trying to explain to her, well, I had my hand raised for a reason. I didn't know what I was doing. That's why my hand was like, "Hey, teacher, I need your help. I need your assistance." So, so I told her that, and she kicked me out of the class. This was probably like the third or so day that I was in there, and she kicked me out. So I sat in the halls with my notebook and this stupid work sample page that made like no sense to me. I didn't know what I was doing. She said I wasn't allowed back in the class until I had completed the work sample. So instead of me like trying to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do, I just made up some answers because I wanted to go back into class. I didn't want to sit in the halls. I didn't know what I was supposed to do, and I didn't know how to do this stupid work sample. So I go back in there and I hand her my paper. At this point, it's been like probably 30 or 40 minutes that I've been out in the hallways, because at my school, at my old school, there was like, it was an hour and a half for a class, so it was 90 minutes. And I was out there for like 30, 45 minutes working on this stupid paper. And she looks at me and she says, all of these are wrong. You realize that? And I was like, yeah, because I need help. That's why I had my hand raised. That's why I was trying to ask you for help. But you made me come out like this rude, ignorant, arrogant teenager that I'm not. I just need your help with this. I don't know how to do it. And she sent me back out in the hallway to go, and she gave me a new piece of paper because I wrote in pen. She gave me this new piece of paper. It was the same worksheet, and she told me to go do the work, and I wasn't allowed back in the class. So I actually grabbed my backpack this time and my actual like binder, because I just had this little like notebook that we had to write in, but we also had work samples and stuff. So I grabbed my notebook, my binder, and my backpack. And at the time I didn't have a phone, so I just used this tablet that my friend gave me. And I grabbed my tablet, I put my headphones in my ear, and I went out in the hallway, and she started yelling at me, "Take your headphones out." We were allowed to have our headphones in as long as no one else could hear the music, as long as it was appropriate music, and as long as we got our work done. Well, music normally keeps me calm. In situations where I'm uncomfortable or I feel like I'm about to scream or cry, I listened to my music because that contained me. It helped me feel a little bit more comfortable. So I told her, like, no, I'm gonna work out in the hallway. No one's gonna hear me anyways. I'm just gonna work on my stupid work sample that you gave me. So at this point, I was getting really, really sick and tired of it. So the bell rang and I ended up leaving and going to lunch because I couldn't go back into class anyways. Following weeks later, every other day, because we had block periods, so it was like A day, B day, A day, B day, and on Mondays it was A and B day. So, um, this happened every time in her class. Like every time. And when I wasn't sent to the halls, I was changed places further back. Um, I was yelled at and I was insulted. She, and I can quote, said, "Why is it that you don't understand anything?" You can't say that to a student. Why don't you understand this? I can get. I wouldn't have been so mad. But she said, "Why don't you understand anything?" And my problem was that I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. So I looked at my grade because before the 6 weeks period, they still have the grades uploaded on this parent teacher view thing, or student view. And I went onto the student view and I looked at my grade and I had 3%. And all of it was just participation. So I was like livid. I was like, what the hell? This is like me not even going to school or doing anything but like attending one class. And mind you, I had been in that class every day. Every time that we had that class, I went in there until she started just kicking me out. There was one day I just had my headphones in, I was ignoring the world. Well, I only had one in. And I was walking to my first or second period class, I don't know, it was early in the morning. And I had saw her in the hallways greeting people like she would, because if she wasn't in her desk preparing for her next class, she was out in the hallway greeting kids. And she told me, "Don't bother coming to class. I'm just going to send you to detention anyways." That is what she said, quote end quote. I looked at her and I was like, what? And I put my headphones in and I was like, whatever, dude, like, you're pathetic. And this was towards the end of the term, which was towards the end of the year. So I was pissed off anyways. And at this point, I didn't like her, she didn't like me. We had vulgar, verbal assault thrown at each other. I was done with her. I didn't even want to go to her class anymore. I didn't do anything in her class because she never taught me how to do anything. I actually had to ask my friends to help me, and I would fail every test. And I failed all 3 semesters that I had with her, which is a year and a half that I had with a stupid teacher. So towards the end of my sophomore year, she had pissed me off that day that she had said, "Don't bother coming to my class. I'm just gonna send you to detention." So I had her 6th period, which was like right before lunch on my B days, or I think it was like an A day. Yeah, I think it was an A day, whatever. I don't really remember. I don't remember my classes all the way, but right before her class, I had a study hall, which was my 5th period class. And in this study hall, she had pissed me off that morning, and I got into her computer, and I set up viruses on her computer, and they were all porn viruses because she made me so mad. And every time she went to a new tab on Google, it would show up this porn ad basically, and all you hear is the moaning, the grunting, the sexual noises on her computer, and she had no idea who it was. She didn't even know what the hell was going on. At the time that she had it, you probably won't believe me, but her speakers were almost on full blast. They weren't like, all the way, but they were like half up where the entire class and kids in the hallway could hear it. And she freaked out. She was like, "Oh my goodness, oh my goodness." And she was like, "Oh God." And she started trying to click out of it and go to a new tab, but it would bring up the same stuff. And the whole class was laughing. Other kids were peeking their head in the door. It was so funny. And to that day, she had no idea it was me, but I'm pretty sure she assumed that it was me, and she, bitch was right. But she had ticked me off to the point where I kind of got back at her in a way. And after that day, her and I never spoke. She would give me an assignment. I would do the paper the best I could with my friend Joran. We would turn our papers in together. I would fail the paper. My friend would get his right because I apparently copied him. And all was Gucci, I guess. But I ended up like failing that class with like a 13 or something percent, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's like not even going to school. And it's kind of impossible to even get that percentage in a class, but that was what my grade was. And oh, screw you, math teacher that I had for all 3 semesters. You suck, and I can't believe you're still working there, because I had actually gone to the staff, like a teacher there. I told my counselor about it, and I had told another teacher, like, "Hey, this is what she's doing. This is actually what she said." And because I didn't want to bring anybody else involved, I just wanted it to be me, the teacher, and the staff the other teacher. I think it was like the assistant principal or like the behavior specialist, because I was sent there from that teacher. I had spoke to her, and I was like, "You know why I have an attitude with her? Because she called me stupid in front of my class." No, she didn't reference the stupid. She actually said that I was stupid, and she said I didn't know anything. And she keeps failing me, but every time I have my hand raised, she walks right past me. She'll look at me, and she'll go to the next student. She only always helped the smart kids. Any kid that ever struggled in that class never got help. And I have people that can vouch for me, because there was several kids in there that was in my little area that she would scream at, yell at, or like, well, not yell, but that's the same thing, but she would scream at, she would insult them, and she wouldn't help them out. She would just yell at you if you didn't have anything done, and then she would send you out of the class. Um, and it was so annoying. So basically, that happened, and I, to this day, will, like, I'm so glad I don't go to that school anymore, because that teacher sucked, and if I could punch her in the face, I would. Anyways, I'm gonna go. This is the video. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, give it a like, thumbs up, or whatever. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in a few days, I think. I'm gonna go every 4 days and then upload, but we'll see. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later.